All right, Jeff. Put
We're
your cock
in.
away.
Yeah, no, they can see it. They know that I keep the framing good, so they can't see that my cock's out. So I can leave it out. Welcome back to Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast. New design. Same old studio, same old Jeff, but we got Kyle as our new producer.
Hello.
Get used to him, love him, follow him. Do you have a social media following?
It's like 6,000 people.
We'll
That's
get
good.
that up to at least 7,000.
Yeah, we'll get it
I'm
up.
fine with that.
We'll get it up.
Send some girlies your way. They go,
Yeah,
you know,
that-
I like that Kyle guy in your podcast. I say,
Yeah.
buddy.
That would be nice.
I'm quite popular on the in the single mother universe. So
I'm fine with that.
if you're
Yeah.
into that, okay.
Yeah.
No,
I'll
say,
give
you know
you
what
some
Kyle loves? Kyle loves sex.
Big
And
fan.
we'll send it. We'll send him your way to
Yeah.
you for sex. And then with us, he's been on the podcast many times. Everybody's seen him if you've seen me live. One of my best friends, love him to death, Randy Valerio.
Hey.
And the new design of the show is going to be not just Kyle and not just Randy, but it's just us. We're going to do this. And if we have a guest every once and again, that's fine. We can do that. But let's because this is one thing you might not know if you follow me on Patreon or if you got to see what I see from my socials. People always go, "You're always just interviewing someone. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear you guys talk." And I'm like, "Oh, interesting." They're like, "We're here for you," which is
Yeah.
very flattering.
Yeah.
But, so let's just do this.
That is one thing I lost when I lost Chase on the podcast when he decided to start his own. That people do get serialized to like
Yeah.
your life and what's going on with you, and it does make it fucking a lot easier. I mean, you know what I'm up to where I am. Like
Yeah.
it's not like you have to chase me down to find a guest.
Right.
I'm available.
When also like the
You know,
call
like-
back, we can call back to things from other. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Not just like today we have Ben Glebe. Like, and I know nothing about Ben Glebe. It's a weird example, but like when you have a new person in
Yeah.
a chair every week, it's very. I'm holding some patches that I will be giving away
Jeff's the patch guy.
once we get 2 million subscribers. I'm sending these patches to 2 random followers. So there you go.
Something to look forward to.
Hopefully you're Jewish. You like those. I got into a little bit of trouble this week.
What'd you get in trouble for?
So I when I did Vinny's podcast.
Oh, I was there.
You
which,
were there.
Which part?
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, surprisingly, everybody liked it. Thought it was very funny. But
I loved it. I was like, wow, this is. Jeff, you I mean, look, Vinny's a crazy person. We love him.
Yeah.
Shout out Vinny Oshana. But he brought out a little crazy in you, and I was like, oh, I love this. I was like, oh, this is great.
Well, it's early in the morning. He's
Yeah,
pouring me
we-
bourbon. That's why I was wearing sunglasses. I'm going, Jesus. So we drank all night. Now we're drinking again at 9.
This isn't real.
Hey, what's happening? They're going to go, were you pouring the shots right in your eyes? Like, why do you look like that? So I made a comment on there. If you listen to the whole clip, or if you listen to the whole episode and not just like the clip that I posted on Instagram, it's like, it's so simple. It's such a simple, I don't know much. I don't know about genocide or the war. I wasn't commenting on that. Sorry if you thought I was. I was not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I thought it was hilarious
It
to
was.
be at a coffee shop and see Armenian, like beautiful Armenian people with fresh haircuts, dripping in designer clothes, nice jewelry, and like the nicest cars in the world, asking for, in big collection boxes, they were asking in big plastic cubes for you to help donate because there is a war and wars are expensive. I wasn't commenting on, I was commenting on how funny it is to see maybe the richest people I've seen
Ask for money.
just asking for, that's all it was. I promise you, I did not mean to offend. I'm not making light of what's
I
happening.
can assure you, Jeff has no
I
idea
had
about
no idea.
geopolitics.
I'm pretty good. I come in peace. I love you. But what's interesting is I got probably 200 death threats.
Yeah.
Take it down. One guy asked, he said he was going to cut my head off. I go, well, this
for it.
seems strange. Also, I thought you were peaceful people.
I know, right? They're like railing against genocide, but we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I'm a comedian that you've never heard of on a podcast you've never watched, and you're willing to. One woman tried to bait me to go get coffee, and I looked at her page, and it was like all these like Armenian bikers and stuff, and I was like, I'm not falling for that.
Yeah.
She's flirting with me, like, come get coffee with me. So beat me up, and then all these guys were saying they're gonna kill me, and like all this different stuff, which I just thought was an interesting rebuttal to a video that offended them. And again, I wasn't trying to, but also like, take it easy. That's quite a mob for a clown.
Yeah, well, it's also weird that, like, it's not like these are all people that live here in the States. So none of them are underneath whatever's going on
Yes.
over there. You know,
Well,
like,
what I learned-
from the safety of, their beautiful palace in Glendale with their Maserati in the front, they're threatening your life.
I know, which is very crazy. They should spend their efforts doing other things. Allegedly, like, they did give tons of money. Like, those rich Glendale people that you see, according to my DMs, like, they've given tons of money, and they're just asking for more money because war is expensive. And then the flags and the cars were about awareness because the press isn't covering it, which, again, this might get me in trouble again, but I will say our press doesn't cover a lot of things that are international.
Can't. How could they?
Right. So they're like, can you believe that the press isn't? It's like, dude, 700 Cambodians just died right now. You're not going to find it on CNN and Fox.
Yeah.
Like everything that happens, like the child armies in Africa, the Syrian, thing, they're not covering that on Fox. So like the outrage of that is like our news is pretty ticky-tacky. Like, look, Biden fell off a bike. Like, that's our news. So it's not gonna get covered.
It's not like you were the one who decided not to cover it.
Yeah, and so like, and I'm not saying maybe we should have raised awareness, and now that I'm aware of it, I'm happy to do that. There were some people that were nice about it. Like some people were like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, the enemy.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Whoever didn't like
no, it
him.
was Armenians who were like, we thought it was hilarious. We joke about how we're like super rich and success. It was kind of flattering. It's like one of those things.
It's like it's like you can't say certain things about black people, but you can certainly say black guys have big dicks.
Or flatter them. Yeah, they're good at basketball.
Like you just said, all you said was, "Hey, people from Armenia are rich." It's like, fuck you. It's like, wait a minute. How is that an insult?
Right, I was putting them up here and me down here, saying like, I wish I had what they have.
Yeah.
And they're like, you jealous ass little cunt bitch. I was like, whoa. God, I'm a clown. I'm just trying to make my buddies laugh, and I did. I did make my buddies laugh, and then it went viral in the Armenian culture, or whatever the things. And my buddy Jack Jr., very funny comedian and friend of ours, he was like, "Yeah, that shit went viral. I saw it like 100 times on Instagram," and I was like, "That's another problem, because if they're really mad about me saying that, they shouldn't share it."
No.
Yeah.
Because now
it's got a lot more press. Making that joke got a lot more press than the actual press about the story.
And I don't want that to be the story. Like, like if you're offended by a thing, don't share it. You should go, fuck that guy. Let's bury this. Like let's not give it any attention. But anyways, I'm glad it's over. I've gotten 0 DMs about it the last few days, and I think it's because I did go back and forth with people, just explaining like, hey, take it easy. I come in peace. I think they wanted the conflict. They wanted me to be like, fuck you, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But because I'm not, they would go, oh, maybe he's just an idiot.
Tell you what.
I'm guilty of being ignorant, not guilty of being evil. Yeah. Like, if any of you Armenians met me, you'd go, oh, I like that guy. He's just a fucking dog.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, like, after the response you got from that, it's like, man, you really might want to make a real effort to like have a sizable Armenian following. Because if they're that loyal,
yeah,
I mean, they'll buy tickets. Like if they're out there, parading their Maserati around, ask for nickels, they'll come up to your show.
One guy, and hopefully this isn't a trap. One guy said, "We thought what you said was fucking hilarious. We're not uptight. Like, we knew what you were trying to say. That's kind of funny. We joke about how much money we got all the time. We own an Armenian gun store, and we would love to have you in. Fucking, we'll show you all the." But in my mind, I was like, there's 1% of me that's like,
how many accidents happen in a gun range?
Yeah, they're gonna say, come on in. We liked what you said. Like fucking whatever. That's pretty extreme. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I took him up on it. I replied. I was like, yeah, man. I don't know about what's going on over there.
I'll come film that vlog for you.
That'd be fun. Which we got to start
Film
doing.
just murder.
What? So Kyle, just to fill you in, guys, he used to work at Thick Boy Studios.
Yep.
Now he's touring around with Trevor Wallace, who's a friend of mine. What do you do for Trevor?
So right now it's mainly tour stuff, but I handle a lot. We have a little cycle. We start the stand-up clip. I get it all subtitled for him. He, runs the checks, and then we send it to his animator to finish the last bit. So that's pretty much it right now.
He has an animator?
Jesus.
Well, he's got another video editor that does all his sketches. His name's John, insanely talented guy.
Right.
But he was doing everything on top of what Trevor was doing also. So they tried to just save him a little bit by sending someone else to be on the road.
Because I saw you last night and you were just taking photos.
Yeah, just photos. And it was fun. It was a good little improv night, but I wish you would have got up.
Yeah, I know.
More fun.
I'll be up there tonight. What are you doing tonight?
Did you go to school for all that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
YouTube education.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's great.
Yeah, if any kids out there listening, if you fucking wonder what to do in college, man, video editing. Yeah, fucking get into audio visual. I mean, like, everyone's trying to create content. No one knows how to create content.
And no one wants to learn.
I got something funny to say, but I can't record
Do you know how
anything.
many funny ideas I have in here? Because it's a consensus. I'm pretty funny.
Well, you should do
like everyone
sketches as
agrees.
well.
I'm funny. I have all these sketches that are very funny. I would have no idea how to shoot them.
Yeah.
I would have no idea how to set it up. I would have no idea where to put the cameras. But the idea is good. Like if I show you the idea, you'd be like, "Oh, that's good," but I wouldn't know what to do or how to. Also, I'd get a little embarrassed if we're like shooting that at a coffee shop and people are watching us. Like I get a little I get a little cringed out about like that stuff. Like, have you ever gotten headshots?
Oh, dude, I'm the worst at taking
It's so
It's like,
cringy.
it's like, listen, you better tell me exactly what to do, or else I'm gonna fucking sit here. Like,
It takes a level of, and you don't have any of that in you.
I
Like
got
you're
zero.
the most
Zero.
like the least vain guy I know, in those ways.
yeah,
like
I'm not trying to be fucking, Joe Cool on the internet. Fuck
I
that
know.
guy. Like,
I didn't even dance. This is an interesting thing that I've never told you. I've never danced in my life until I started doing mushrooms. Something has let me go, oh, it's just wiggling your body to music. Like it's like I feel music different than I did before mushrooms. Isn't that
What a
wild?
mushrooms will do that. Mushrooms will change a lot.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of funny? I'd never even
I'd
tried.
still be
Because in my
self-conscious.
mind, I'm like, I'm dancing. This is everyone's gonna think I'm a loser. This doesn't look cool, does it? But like now I'm not. I don't have any of that thought process in my life.
How much mushrooms I'd have to eat to get over not wanting to dance?
Well, that's the same feeling though. Like when you're getting headshots and they take you to like an alley and people are walking by seeing you like pose against like graffiti and they're like, ugh.
I see it all
Oh,
the time.
he wants
dude.
to be a star. Like it
Yeah,
has this
dude.
like weird feeling to it.
Well, I live right by the that Paul Smith, that big pink wall across the street from the Improv,
Oh yeah.
and it's just a giant pink wall.
Don't you have a joke about putting butterfly wings on a building?
Yeah, but it's one of those things. The Instagram influencers, all of them have to take a shot at this wall. So it's literally just a lot. There's literally a little velvet red rope, and one guy sitting on a chair outside of this I guess a clothing store has a big pink wall. And he lets them in one by one. I swear to God, there's got to be 40 people out there, half of them all Asian tourists,
Oh,
waiting
God.
to take photos with the pink wall. It's like, I'm just going to spray paint a random pink wall and be like, hey, guys, this is like the fake one, but it'll look the same. Like, just shoot it here.
Yeah. When also it's like there's not a little bit of like pride. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
That's being grossed out by it.
if I go to a girl's Instagram page and it's just like high resolution photos of her like looking hot alone in every image, just at different places, like I hope we're outgrowing that. I hope that someday we'll look back on that and go, that was kind of gross and like
it
vain.
didn't start like that. You remember when Instagram started? It was just like, that's when people started taking pictures of food.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's my dog. Like just random shit.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, like, oh, money can be made here, so I got to up the.
But I don't think all those girls
level.
are making good money. They're just gaining
Not all of them,
followers.
no.
Yeah.
Well,
Or they're getting free stuff.
OnlyFans,
Free
dude.
stuff.
Free clothes.
Free clothes and OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Most women that are doing those high resolution pics are, listen, from the girls I follow, it seems like they're doing OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say all women. I'm going
Yeah.
to say the women that I've come across.
But
on the internet.
imagine, and I use this example multiple times, but like, imagine these poor bastards that are like their boyfriends or husbands. Like, you're gonna act like that doesn't bother you at all? Like, I'd go, ugh.
I mean, if she pulled up in a Bentley and I've
I
just
was
been
gonna
home
ask
all
you-
day,
There you go, Jeff. If your girlfriend was making $100,000 a month on OnlyFans, and she's not having sex, just posting pictures of herself nude, and you can't be on their Instagram, would you have a problem with that?
Doesn't matter. I'll tell you why. I've dated millionaire women. I paid for everything. Poor women, rich women, they don't pay for
Daddy
shit.
still pays.
They don't pay. And if you're listening and you go, that's not true, I pay, probably because you dated a loser and you had to pay.
Yeah.
You dated a guy that couldn't afford to pay for your thing. That's bad on your choice. These women don't pay. They don't offer to pay. Like I've used this example with you a bunch of times. I know I probably know 150 like boss ass women, like the president of NBC. I know the owner of the Lakers. I know like wildly successful boss ass individual women. None of them have boats. Every rich guy I know has a boat. I know some poor guys with boats.
Just to get some chicks.
Women don't do it. It's literally like I've took this chick to Vegas. She's like, I love Vegas. I came back like I spent $12,000 in Vegas. I'm all stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going, oh god. And she's sitting there going, isn't Vegas fun? I'm going, yeah, for you. Yeah, you had a great time. Kept coming getting money from me and gambling, and all you had to do was hook up with me. That's quite a.
that's expensive.
You know what would be a really
Doesn't matter how
boss?
successful they get, they still want you to be daddy.
That is one thing they don't want to let go, which is funny because they want to, like I said, they want to be a boss bitch. But I feel like Like, look, when I had money back when I was a banker, like the nice part was like, oh, daddy's got the check for all of his friends.
Right.
Like women will never know that feeling because they still don't. They have no interest in paying.
Right.
You know, like part of being the boss is picking up the
Gotta
tab.
do it, yeah.
You know, and you're not a boss bitch if you're not paying for everybody.
Yeah, just because you have your own money and you're not spending it doesn't make you a boss ass bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes you greedy.
You gotta, yeah, because you're thinking, well, if she has a Bentley, she's like, yeah, but how does that help you? Yeah, that she's just attracting other
true.
dudes with her Bentley,
With her
and people are
Bentley.
going, oh,
That's
she's got it like that. Because like Beyonce's like, the ring on my hand, I bought it. No, Jay-Z bought it.
Yeah. She somehow found a more wealthy person than
Yeah,
herself.
she found the only richer guy than her.
And she probably still doesn't spend money.
Beyonce could have changed Kyle's life.
I wish she would.
I don't know why I put you on that.
I'm fine
Beyonce
with
could have
it.
changed any of our lives, and instead
Let me
she
have
found
this.
the only guy richer than her, and it's like, Jay-Z bought it. The ring on my hand, Jay-Z bought it. The house that I'm in, Jay-Z bought it. Like, it's Jay-Z bought it. And all these girls go, I want to be a boss-ass bitch like Beyonce. Yeah, and find like a pro athlete to bought it.
To marry someone more successful will buy for you.
insane. And I'm not. This is not a knock on women. It's fine. You know, I support it. There's a lot of double standards, and
Yeah.
men have a ton of those, and women have a ton. I'm fine with it.
That'll
But you
be
should
one
just
of
know.
the
Don't
yeah.
stop playing like you're some individual. Well, these tits pay for my bills. It's like no, probably some rich guy pays
Pay
for
for
your
those tits
bills
and your bills.
Yeah, and then you get free shit from companies. Yeah. It's we have to pretend like that shit's all okay,
Yeah.
and I don't pretend like it's okay. I
That's
go,
when we have real sexual equality. When it's not weird for a woman to support her man.
Yeah.
That's still weird. I mean, like in this society, it's still weird. You know?
Also, like those OnlyFans things. Like I remember used to know a girl. I won't say her name, but like she made good money. Like and
Rosie
she would
O'Donnell.
like,
No.
but she never hooked up with a guy. She would just like you could buy videos of her like sucking like on a dildo or something,
Yeah.
and you could buy these videos of it. And it's like I wouldn't want my girlfriend doing that. And she's like, why? What's so wrong with it? It's like, well, I like to think that we're not showing people that of ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you like to see? What if I saw videos of me?
Yeah.
Jerk it
It's so
off. Would you
normalized like that right
It's
now.
weird that we've normalized that.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds very conservative. Mark Harley's accused me of being like so conservative in that way. But that is one way that I'm conservative.
Yeah.
That if you're my girlfriend or wife or fiance, I'd prefer if you didn't suck dildos
Let's
on
call
the
it
internet.
old-fashioned.
Well, dude, I
Yeah.
also think it's just bad for women. I mean, because like think about it this way: like if your superpower is that,
Right. Your beauty.
why would you trade that in for nickels?
Right.
You don't perform comedy for free.
No.
Why, if you're hot as shit, why would you just here for $4 a month? Look
Yeah,
at my pussy.
that is it.
It's like, what is wrong with you? Like
That makes it even worse. They're like, yeah, but I'm getting paid though. How much would it cost for me to see it? $12. You're cheaper than the Jets? It costs more to see the shitty football team, the Jets,
Yeah, I get a bleacher
than to
seat for
watch
less.
you blow a guy. That seems like something's backwards here. That's insane. And it's one of those things because I'm very conservative on certain things and not conservative at all on others. And that's one of the ones that I lean pretty conservative.
But that's one I think that's harming them more than like the empowerment of it. Like, yeah, just because you could doesn't mean you should.
Right.
Like I could flaunt my sexuality. Yeah, but why do it for a nickel?
I know.
Like don't hold something back. Like
Yeah, it's very weird.
because it kind of corners you a little bit. I mean, are you gonna take any actress seriously if she started a career as an OnlyFans model?
No.
Most directors probably won't either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, who's going to take you seriously?
I wish you were there last night at the Improv. I was sitting there with a beautiful woman who's a friend of ours and a comic, and she's just great boobs and she's clean. And I go, is there ever a time, just ever a time that women don't have cleavage? Like just ever? Has there ever been a time where you don't own? Like it's so always
Like when's turtleneck
always
season?
with the cleavage.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, dude, cleavage
Is it just
is
always?
Cleavage is so old hat, dude. Cleavage was fucking 1990, man. 10
Yeah.
years ago, it was side boob. Now we're going under boob.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure by next year we'll see like 2/3 of an asshole. Like that.
Yeah,
that's
2/3.
That's where we're going with this.
I don't know, but in my mind, it's like I'm like maybe it sound like a pig again, and people go, "Well, like you really care." It's like no, I love cleavage, and I'm a big woman guy for sure. But like always, do we always have to see your titty meat?
Well, I can't wear
always?
sunglasses everywhere.
Right.
You know, it's like
all
we're
the
Barnes
time,
and Noble
always.
right now.
I have to see your tits always. It's insane, and that some women do that obviously more than others. But the woman I was talking to last night, I was like, "Do you always have to show your tits? Always?"
And she's a comic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a double-edged sword too, right? Because if you're hot, obviously people want to look at you. But if you're a comic and you're hot,
It's
it can be
distracting,
distracting
too,
to the
yeah.
funny. You know,
Yep.
like you don't want like. I mean, you're a good-looking guy, but you don't go out there shirtless. You're
Right.
fucking, you know,
No.
like you're out there clothed. And it's about the jokes. You know, like,
Yeah,
you save
distraction.
you save your sexy time face for later. You know, like
Distraction is the enemy of comedy. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want to give them staring at something else.
Yeah. Especially
Boobs.
tits.
Yeah, boobs will make me stare. Wait, what were we talking about before when we were downstairs? We were saying the things we were going to talk about.
Well, you started talking about how ignorant you were of the Armenian debacle and the issue with that, and that reminded me. I didn't want to break into it until just now, but Space,
Yes.
the new documentary.
Hey, Jeff loves space.
Yeah, well, he watched one documentary.
space guy now.
Jeff's favorite thing to do is watch one documentary and then immediately tell everyone around him
Yeah.
the
go,
new thing
hey,
he learned.
you know,
The new thing he
Well,
learned.
actually,
I'm like a child that way. I gotta go tell it, which makes me the best consumer ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
man,
you
businesses-
are an advertiser's wet dream.
Yeah,
I mean-
seriously. Like they'll be like I sign up for like Equinox, and I don't shut up about Equinox every minute of the day
Yeah.
for the next 5 weeks. That's exactly what Equinox wants.
how
Yeah.
often do you go to Equinox? Are you going,
Every
or are
day.
you just
Every
telling
single
people?
day.
Okay,
but I'm
alright.
also talking about it. I don't shut up about it. I
Yeah.
go, just went to Equinox. Guess what Equinox has? You know what Equinox? Like I just can't. That's great.
Yeah.
Consumers should be coming to Jeff. But so I watched this space documentary. It's on Netflix. It's narrated by Morgan Freeman.
It's called Outer Space, I believe.
No.
Or something.
Oh, maybe it is. They have different episode titles,
Let's
and
see.
so maybe that's why I'm confusing.
Let's
it.
see. Space documentary. All three of us. This is how prepared we are.
Oh, we don't. It's okay.
I don't give a fuck.
It's called
the
Our
Cosmos.
Universe.
Our Universe.
Oh,
there you go.
okay.
So in our universe, it teaches you about space, which is the biggest thing in the world, to like
And how it
our
relates.
little
Yeah.
planet, like down to the smallest ant or the smallest atom or the smallest cell. But here's the thing: it's quite a reach to bridge that gap. A little bit of a reach. They'll be like, this monkey is pregnant, you know, and they like zoom into like this monkey fetus, and he's like, and it links back all the way, and they, and it goes to like,
to the
space. You're
sun.
like, how's this related?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the pregnant monkey and space is both very interesting to me, but I think it's a little bit of a reach how they're trying to bridge that gap.
I think it's like sitcoms back in the day during sweeps when they would like, you know, remember they would have like the mashup of like, oh, this sitcom and this sitcom would like have an overlap thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like it's like their version for like PBS specials. Like, oh, nature is a popular, it's a popular
Yeah.
documentary format. Space, another popular documentary format. Why don't we do both at the same time?
It's like talking about Pizza Hut. In the 90s, they're like, put them together.
yeah.
We'll get everybody.
Yeah, it's like, what?
You know, pizza and tacos. Yeah, but it is really, really interesting. But one of the things we had a fun conversation about is, so we'll put Kyle on the spot because we already
Yeah.
talked about it. That doesn't mean I knew it. It means we've learned it, or I learned it. He already knew. So how is our calendar year measured? Like it's 365 days.
Yeah.
Why? Do you know why?
I have no clue.
Yeah. Like, what does a year represent?
I know we go
Like, how
around.
did we come to that 365 days?
That's a good question. I have no
Okay,
idea.
so it's and this is the one I knew. On our axis, which is different than other planets
Yeah.
and stars and moons, one revolution,
Revolution.
sorry, is 24 hours.
Okay.
So that's how we that's
Yeah, when we
one.
spin around our axis, it's 1 day, 24
Yeah, so you
hours.
see the sunshine come up and then it's cold and then whatever. For that's 1 day.
Jeff knew that. He got that right.
Yeah, but the year is when we go around the sun,
Okay.
right?
That's what a year represents. Yeah.
a year represents that we went.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Jeff had no idea. So I asked.
So I was sitting there all confused because like they were starting to talk about how other planets, how we compare to like in Mercury, and I'm gonna make this up, but it's something like a day on Mercury.
Oh, it's
like,
Venus. It's Venus.
Or Venus. It's like 3,500 hours for a day, but a year is like 3,200 hours.
So a year is shorter than a day
It
on
takes them
Venus.
less time to go around the sun than it does for them to revolve,
Okay.
which is why life can't exist there because it would
Yeah.
either be way too hot or way too cold at any given time in a day. But I think that's fascinating because I'd be like, "Hey, buddy, you want to go get a beer in like a year?" Man, I haven't seen. I'm 39 days old.
I haven't seen you in 2
I haven't
years.
seen you in 2
That would
years.
be insane.
Like, yeah, I saw you this morning. Oh, I guess it was like, yeah, I guess it's been 3 years. Because because it's all like jumbled,
Yeah.
you know, like it's
Imagine the amount of jokes you could fit into there doing the spot on Venus.
like funny. Yeah,
Just oh yeah.
Yeah, an hour is like fucking 4 years and 4 Earth years on Venus.
Also, like he kept adding stuff in there that I was like, "This is why do I need to know this?" They're like the biggest meteor, like whatever. It's like some planet I've never heard of. It's not even in our solar system. It got hit by a rock and had a big divot. I was like, "How do they even know that?" Like everything just made me like I was sitting there just puzzled. I was watching it with a stranger. Some girl was like, "Are you watching the thing?" And I gave her one of my earbuds, and we watched a movie together. We didn't exchange names or anything. She's just like, "That looks cool." I go, "You want to hear it?" She goes, "Yeah."
I asked Jeff, I was like, so what did you think a year represented? He goes, I don't know, I thought like the president said it.
Yeah, I thought he made it up.
He literally,
Just an
he literally
declaration.
he's like, I thought it was like the time. Like they just said, oh, 365 days a year. That's a year. That's it. We're done.
Well, in my
He
defense,
just thought like some
Little science involved.
well, I thought that they were like here's what I was thinking, is that like they were like, well, we need to have some system that we like. You can't just say let's meet at the coffee shop at sunup. Like we need to create a system so it's a lot more specific.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the system they all set up socially. Like let's all get on board with this thing.
I could get behind that logic.
Yeah, but
I understand
it's
where
wrong.
you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, and also the only reason I thought it was the president too is because, like, I don't know if it was George W. Bush or if it was Clinton or if it was Obama, but somewhere along the lines, one of them decided no daylight savings, and I was like, "You're allowed to do that? You could just say I'm president. We're not doing daylight savings anymore."
Just keep the clocks where they are.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe they do determine time because if we're just all on the same page.
Yeah, well, I mean, time is one of the funny things. Like, I think time is the only thing, the only word in the English language, in the English language dictionary, that uses its own name to describe itself. Like, you can't, there's no way to define time without using the word time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's very complicated. Times of all, like, the, the 3 dimensions of space and the 4th dimension of time, that's
Yeah.
the most complicated one. Because space and time are the same thing, which there's no
Well,
way.
I like that he said, this is a quote, he said, time is not a measurement of time. Time is a measurement of movement.
Yes, that's what
And
it is.
so it's like, the planets are moving, we're moving. That's all this thing. And so like I was like, oh, that's pretty smart. Like, yeah, I've looked at it wrong. It's like, yeah, we're counting how many times.
Dude, I was dating a girl back when I first started doing comedy, and I've been single for a while. I had a bunch of money from back when I was a banker, so I was, whatever Randy wanted, Randy got.
Yeah.
So we would hang out, and I'd pick the fucking shit we'd watch because she had a problem. It's like, all right, you can go home. Like,
Yeah. No rules.
we're not, So I'd be watching space.
That'd be hilarious. She's like, can we watch that other thing? Go home. You could have just said no. Why do I have to go home?
I was very on my bullshit, but we were watching a space documentary. I think it was the Cosmos, or the Fabric of the Cosmos, and it was on time, and we're starting hooking up. You do, and on the TV the guy goes, "We know what time it is, but we don't know what it is," and she literally stops, like pulls me out of her mouth. Just, can we turn this fucking shit off?
Oh,
and
that's
I
great.
laughed so hard.
Yeah. She's annoyed.
She goes, "What is time, Randy? This is what you want to get blown
that's
to. What is time?"
hilarious. You're over there learning. It's really funny. She's annoyed.
So get this. I changed the channel. It was on like a. This is back like when it was airing live. I changed the channel, and there was another documentary on about the Vietnam War.
Oh,
She's
God.
like, Jesus Christ! It's like nothing you watch is not
sexy.
a good mood turner here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like I can't tell you how many times I've hooked up and we like this is a long time ago, but like DVDs used to have like a 30-second, maybe 60-second loop of whatever the music or clips were like on that menu screen to see like, do you want to watch the feature presentation? Do you want to watch the
I miss that.
and you'd be hooking up and you're just like, ugh, neither one of us want to deal with it because we're operating. But it's like I have to like see Zoolander. I have to hear Zoolander for like 60 seconds every 60
Yeah,
seconds.
mine was Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, God.
Lots of Shawshank Redemption play, like the play screen repeating over and over in college.
Yeah. Now that I'm living basically in hotels, it's a lot of Mario Lopez.
Oh
Nothing
my
wrong
God,
with that.
dude. He might be the most successful TV star ever. Just no one knows it. He's on every TV in every hotel room.
Yeah.
His second act, like I said, he's on more screens than the cast of Friends. I
Yeah.
mean, like every day,
Without the respect.
but with more money. I
Yeah,
bet.
but Big whoop.
Shout out to Mario Lopez. He follows me on Twitter, dude.
He does?
2 years ago, I wrote a joke about, I think it was one of those like fact accounts. They're like, jellyfish are technically immortal. And my response, and so is Mario Lopez.
Oh, yeah.
And he saw it. And
He's like,
dude,
yeah.
this is great. He followed me. He reposted it.
Nice.
Sweet. Fucking Mario Lopez.
Yeah, he's a weird
I
guy.
guess he's big into jujitsu.
And boxing.
Yeah.
He did like
One
that
of my
big
buddies
boxing documentary.
Is that his gym? They
Yeah.
hang out a lot. And I was like, well, that's.
I'll tell you what,
neat.
man. I don't know what he's doing for himself, but he
He looks
looks
good.
well. Yeah.
Stem cells, bro.
Is that what it is?
Also, what are stem cells?
Good question.
I have no idea.
Good question.
Some girl was talking to me about it last week, and I was sitting there going, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah,
but I don't know what she's talking about.
What percentage of things do you think you like actually have no real knowledge?
Tons
about?
of stuff.
No, I'm saying like you've heard the term stem cells, you've had conversation about
Yeah.
it. But how much of it do you like? I don't really know. What
A
that,
lot.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan Peterson's got a great thing where he's like, most people go through life only knowing like the first layer of something.
Oh, yes.
So it's like flight, right? You go, oh, I get in a plane and it flies. I go, how? Well, it has those big engines on it, and it lifts off using like I guess sky to like I don't know. And they go, okay, and how? And you go, I don't know. That's the amount of layers I know.
Yeah.
When it's a wildly complex thing that we never bother learning.
Well, we get antsy with it, like fucking email or like you say fucking I get no service down here. It's like you have a walking computer, asshole. You didn't have that. You didn't have that in your hand 10 years
Yeah.
ago. You ungrateful bastard.
Yeah,
Like,
we have a lot of cool stuff.
yeah.
I always think like it would suck if they made like some spaceship or time machine, and I go and then we crash and we're stuck in some weird planet, and all the Martians are like, "All right, well, what do you need material wise, like to fix your spaceship?" And I go, "I don't know. Elon Musk made that."
Yeah.
Like, why would I know? I got in it and it took me here. And they go, "So you don't know how to fix this or operate it?" I go, "No, I didn't fly it. I just got in." And I wonder if aliens are like that. Like when those aliens crashed in like Area 51, do you think they were like, how do we fix it? And they go, we're the dumb aliens. Smart
Yeah, yeah.
aliens made that.
There's got to be 200,000 people on this planet who are responsible, who like actually know how electricity works
Yeah.
and gets to our home, how satellites
Yeah.
bring our phone to us. The rest of us are just here living on it. Like,
Don't know.
Like we have no fucking idea.
I'd last a week in this house if everything shut down. Let alone in nature.
A week? You don't have enough groceries to go 3 fucking days, man.
But I could-
You're gonna start eating those goddamn plastic toys behind you.
You don't have to eat for a week,
That's
you know?
true, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
better,
like, I just sit around going, oh, God, I'd call someone, but my phone broke. I wouldn't make it, dude. Like, and people talk about nature all the time. They go, well, how long could you lay? An hour?
I asked.
I'd get cold, I'd lay down, and then I'd perish.
As soon as it got a little dark, they're
That'd
like,
be an
well, it's
hour.
time to go home.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Just,
about as long as I'd
Bear
last
food.
an Oregon Trail. Like I'd caulk the wagons and float it and die.
yeah. I'd try to rob some guys, and they would just shoot me, and that'd be it. I'd go, give me all your stuff. I'll take her, too. And that's it. That's the whole Oregon Trail for me.
It was a Bill Burr had a whole joke about that. He's like all these doomsday preppers are like, they're waiting for the apocalypse. It's like so they're storing 3, 4, 6 months worth of food in their house. It's like all they're doing is collecting shit for the toughest guy on their block.
Oh, yeah.
Just come over and take it.
Yeah, those doomsday preppers is very. Well, I don't know why they get so much credit. Like these guys are smart. It's like not really. They're such worry warts.
Well, they just have storage. What makes them smart? Any asshole can buy 3 months worth of shit at Costco.
Yeah.
It's
Not that great.
You just have storage space. Like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah. You never heard of FEMA? They're gonna drop food on your head. We live in the richest country in the world. Like there's people that have hurricanes. The neighboring city is fined, and they still get food dumped on their head by FEMA. Like it's how it works. People come help you. They get a ladder. They go, "Sorry, your house is underwater.
Yeah. Would you be
Here's
one
a
of the,
free apartment in Los Angeles." I mean, it's like pretty cool to be.
Would you be one of those people like if you lived in a hurricane zone or like a one of these natural disaster areas, like, oh no, I'm going to stay and ride it out?
No.
How crazy are those people?
Yeah, that's dumb. Also, like I think about it.
Let's be fair. There's people who can't get out. Right?
Sure.
So and they want to, and so I feel bad for them. But there are people who are like, no, I'm going to stay.
Yeah, because they go, well, what's the point? But here's the thing, I used to be, but I'm so not attached to stuff anymore. Like, there's nothing where I would go, oh, I'll buy all this again.
Yeah, well, you can't replace it if you die with it.
Yeah.
Like it makes it real hard to get it
Yeah.
all back if you're dead.
I don't get their pride about it. I could go live somewhere else and just accumulate shit there. Like,
Dude,
you know what I'm saying?
I watched a documentary recently on Netflix called Paradise Lost about that big campfire. It was called the Campfire, but it was a big wildfire up in Northern California in Paradise. It burned the whole fucking town down. 20,000 homes. It just leveled the place. The cop was talking about how he's trying to get people out, and you could see, I mean, like the whole fucking town is on fire.
Yeah.
And he's driving, like speeding down the highway, trying to go fast, because if he slows down, his
tires
car's
gonna
going to pop.
pop,
He
yeah.
has to go fast. So he like flies through this fire. You're getting people out. This cop's getting people out. Finally comes into a house. He's like, oh, yeah, there's like a 60-year-old guy, his wife, and they had like, a dog and 2 cats. He's like, we got to go. He's like, no, we're going to wait it out. He's like, wait it out? He's like, the whole fucking community's on fire. Get in the car now.
Yeah.
Like, no, well, our cat's still inside. He's like, well, go get the cat.
Yeah.
He had he literally spent, like, they showed this exchange back and forth. He spent like 6 minutes trying to convince these people that the fire is not going to stop at their yard.
But what is the pride about? Like, what is?
I know what.
There's some guy some old fucker who died during Mount St. Helens. I think that was it. Like the volcano erupted.
Yeah.
And it took really long time for it was like dormant for a little while and then became active. And so like for whatever reason, this old person has been up there forever. And they just decided they weren't going to do it, and they died. But I'm like, but like why? Where's the pride at?
Yeah, I can see the pride in like, oh, you have like stage 3, stage 4 cancer, and you're like, all right, I don't want to go through another round of chemo. I'm going to enjoy my life and go out, and it's terminal.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it right. But it's like this.
What do you mean do it right? Lava?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like this is one he could easily walk away from. Just get down the mountain and leave.
Willie Simon's got a great bit about lava. Friend of the show, you know Willie.
Yeah,
Willie's
yeah.
the best. But Willie's got a great bit, and someone told him a long time ago that it's not very funny, and so he stopped doing it. But then he told me, and I was like laughing really hard. I was like, "You got to do that." And he did it that night. And he's like, "You're right. I should have been doing it. This is a funny bit because he's from Hawaii, so he has all this
Yeah, it's probably not
lava.
funny in Hawaii when lava's coming through your
maybe.
fucking living room, but out here it's
He's
fine.
got all this lava material. You know, it's like he's talking about. It's like people are like, "Oh, aren't you afraid of like volcanic eruption?" He's like, "Do you know how slow lava is? It could be coming right at you, and you just go." And he goes, it's the only thing where they're like, we're in a state of emergency. The lava is coming. You need to be out in 4 to 5 days. Like that's pretty good
good material.
natural disaster,
Yeah.
you know? I don't know.
I don't know, dude. There is some. One of like the types of volcanic explosions is really scary. It's called like a pyroclastic flow. Listen to this, dude.
How do you know that?
I read.
I know, but I read stuff, you know, but I don't know pyroclastic flow. That's a smart word.
I'm a weird guy.
If you just asked me a second ago what's a pyroclastic flow, I'm like, those are the flying dinosaurs. Duh.
Pterodactyls.
You tried to trick me?
No, but it's basically it's a superheated ash cloud. So when the top of the volcano blows up, it incinerates all that rock, right? The lava spews out after that, but in the initial explosion, that all turns to ash and dust.
Oh, yeah.
It's superheated, and it's like a fire avalanche that comes down the side of the mountain.
Wow.
That'll fuck you up.
What ash is a big part of the volcano. Like I know, like my parents lived hundreds of miles from the volcano, and their house was covered in ash from
Yeah.
Mount St. Helens. But like I was like, is that scary? They go, no, it's just ash. It just lands on everything like snow.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, hundreds of miles away? They're like, yeah, it's like the
Crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Well, that was happening with those fires.
I know.
Which natural disaster are you most afraid of? That's a good one. I'll ask that to Kyle as well.
I'd say tornado, because I heard like a horrific story from a lady that was on Extreme Makeover Home Edition when we were like building her new house. Little bonus fact, I was on Extreme Makeover Home Edition, but like
Bonus fact.
yeah, not a lot of people know that about me. But
My family knew that. They
Really?
like, oh yeah, like, oh, we remember you from one of my aunts. Like, oh, we remember you from Extreme
That's
Makeover Home.
funny.
See, I hate to break it to you, I don't actually know how to do any of that shit.
yeah, it was all a lie.
Yeah, they made me wear a tube belt. I never pulled anything out of
I
it.
also signed a lot of things saying I wouldn't admit that, but it's a lie. Whatever.
Yeah, show's over.
Yeah. So the like you'd hear the family's story, and it was always fucking horrific. I mean, that's how they got chose
Yeah.
to get a free mansion from the show. And one of the stories was this woman. You know, she's in Kansas, and tornado came through. She went down to the cellar, and they like basically just kind of
Hunkered down,
and she woke up in a field. And
it sucked her out of the fucking basement.
empty-handed. She had her 2 babies with her. And so she woke up. It's like a nightmare. Like I heard the story and I was like, oh fuck. I was like crying when she was telling me. We all were. It was so sad. And she goes, I woke up and I was pretty fucked up because I've landed in a field pretty far from my
Thrown
house.
for
She goes, but when you're notice that your kids aren't in your hands that were, you start, you're not worried about your sprained ankle and your gash on your back. You're just looking around. And she goes, she found one of her babies like slammed up against a tree that had just definitely dead. So she found her own baby. And then she like walked around with a bunch of other people that were kind of like whatever, and found another baby, her other baby that was like 4 or 5, completely dead from just being like thrown into the woods by the tornado.
That's crazy.
And I was like, that sounds way worse than, a flood or,
Well, the tornado, I mean, they're all tough because they're all hard to predict. Obviously, a hurricane, you can see coming for the most part. Like that comes.
You always have a week advance, maybe.
Yeah,
or
it's
a
like
week
a
out
big
the
storm.
battle.
Yeah, and they intensify faster and faster now because the water temperatures are higher. But you still know that it's coming. Tornadoes, they can tell. Tornadoes are even more unpredictable because they can tell like, there's a thunderstorm coming, and these have the right types of clouds for them to form. But they don't know where any tornado's going to hit. They just know like this area. A tornado could hit anywhere at any moment, and then all of a sudden they just hit.
I saw this documentary called Twister, and they talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, all you need is a leather belt and a sturdy pole, and if you tie yourself off to that, the tornado won't rip you up.
Jodie Foster got some great footage of those twisters. I don't know.
It was one of the first scary movies I watched.
Also, fuck Earth. Everyone's trying to save the Earth. The Earth keeps fucking with us. Every time, there's reason Don's staying at my house is because a hurricane knocked out his parents' house.
Yeah.
It's like Earth is constantly trying to kill us, and everyone's like, we got to save the planet. It's like, the planet's going to be fine.
Oh, well, dude, human beings couldn't actually live anywhere if we didn't have technology except for at the equator.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't be living here in Los Angeles without fucking air conditioning, running water.
Right.
I mean, we're in a desert.
Yeah.
We'd be dead in 3 weeks if there was no buildings. Like, we need technology to live most of the places we live. That's it. I mean,
There's all these new hurricanes every year. We got a name for every hurricane. There's always a flood. Some levee breaks.
Yeah.
There's too much rain. Or there's too much snow, or a drought here in the dry places. It's like, fuck you, Earth. Everyone likes you so much, and everyone acts like we're such a threat to the Earth. No, the Earth keeps fucking killing my friends, fucking with their shit. I don't feel bad for Earth.
I know, it's doing pretty fine.
It's gonna survive.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
It's smarter than us, or not smarter, but it's better at surviving.
Yeah, I think the natural disaster I'd be most afraid of is probably a tsunami, because the idea of the drowning aspect of it, like I feel like in an earthquake something will fall on me, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But like the idea of getting churned in a blender with my neighbor's fucking personal effects,
Right.
and drowning, that seems like a really horrible way.
Plus,
to go.
you'd hate to die in Japan. I know Randy. That's why Randy doesn't want to die. He's going, I got to die in Japan. Big wave came. Tsunami just means big wave in Japanese.
No shit.
Yeah, there's not like some old. It's just Japanese for big wave. So when you see those movies and they go tsunami, they're just going big wave.
That's
They're just describing it. It's very I kind of like that.
I feel like a lot of. I feel like that's the same with a lot of foreign languages. Like, it seems so unique to us, but then it's like, oh no, it just means that.
Pretty basic, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I learned sign language barely, and all it did was rune charades.
Oh, you just know the letters?
Yeah,
You spell out the word?
Well, but also American Sign Language it's not that complex. There's for every word there's a sign, and it's not as elaborate as French or Korean or any of these. Learning those is wildly more difficult than just learning a sign for the English word,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's I was thinking about sign language a lot, like what we're saying with the big wave. Everything is very this is bullshit. It's horns. If you're just listening, I'm putting horns on one of my elbows, and then at the bottom of my other elbow, I'm making kind of a splat open hand thing. So it looks like bullshit.
That's bullshit.
That's sign language for bullshit.
How do you say "fuck you"? Does that work?
I think that's it. Yeah, it's like I'm saying, it's all. Okay. And if you don't know a thing, you finger spell it. You just use the.
I once asked I was dating a Lebanese chick, and I asked her, I was like, how to say, I want to learn some Arabic. And the first things you always learn with any language is how to curse someone out. I asked her, I was like, how do you say go fuck your mother in Arabic? She goes, there's no combination of words to say that in Arabic. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, 'cause you can't fuck your mother. It's not you
right. It's a different culture.
Yeah, you would never say that in that language. Yeah. And I'm like, there's got to be words. No, there's no words.
All I heard till I was 25 was no. That's all I know. I'm a woman who's Lebanese.
You can't drive. Stay inside.
All I've heard is no. Do you want to know how to say no in Lebanese? I can do that. Or Aramaic, right?
Arabic.
Arabic. Isn't Aramaic like the oldest language, like the Bible
That's
stuff?
what Jesus spoke.
Yeah, that guy's the best, dude. He knew a bunch of languages.
Yeah, he did all right.
I bet he knew English. I've read the book.
Yeah.
I think Hitler might be the second most documented person behind Jesus.
Really?
Think about it, dude. I mean, like, look, Jesus has all the books, right? He's got anything put in print, he's got that locked down.
Right.
But documentaries,
Oh,
like
yeah.
film documentaries, Hitler's got a lot of documentaries out there, which is crazy that the best guy ever and the worst guy ever are somehow both covered very heavily.
Yeah.
You would think they wouldn't want to cover Hitler so much.
Isn't it interesting though that how little people do know about Hitler? They're pretty
Yeah.
stupid about it.
Yeah.
You hear like I've heard 100 comedians go, well, maybe if you just did better in art school, we would. I was like, yeah, I've heard Patton Oswalt do that ignorant fucking bit a long time ago, and now you guys are all thinking you're geniuses for thinking about it. Yes, he attended art school. That wasn't what like. He went to the first war and it like broke his brain. He killed people, saw his friends slaughtered.
He had mustard gas poisoning because he was poisoned in the goddamn trenches.
He's a crazy person.
Yeah.
It's not like he was trying to be Picasso. Like he just happened to go to an art school, and everyone finds that tidbit so interesting.
Well, you were asking me the other night, like, most people don't know that Hitler was elected, like when he took power.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no, he was voted in, and then he took power. Like, he got into office completely
Yeah,
legitimately.
did you know this?
No.
I didn't know it either.
He got into office completely
wait, was-
legitimately, and then he stopped elections after that. He became the guy, and then said no more elections.
Yeah, 'cause I
so
was
it wasn't like he like had a coup and took over.
Yeah.
No, he got voted in.
I asked myself, like, what was his title? Like, if he had a business card, like Hitler.
Führer.
Yeah. Call me the Führer. But, like, what is a Führer, So I was like, well, I knew that word, and I knew that that's what he was called.
Supreme
like,
leader,
the
basically.
Führer. But then, because of his popularity, he got elected. And then while he got elected, he goes, no more democracy.
Yeah.
I'm now the guy, which is dictatorship. And so, but I didn't know any of that. I
Yeah.
just thought, like, maybe he's just so
Most
popular.
people don't. Most people think he like just took power, like
Yeah.
like in a military coup, like most dictators do.
Well, I mean, I imagine those votes were, like, out of fear, too.
Well, a lot of them were out of anger, dude, because these are broke, poor people. When Germany was, they were at like 10 times worse than our depression.
Sure.
But then, yeah, the Nazi Party had like a private paramilitary, the SS, then the Gestapo, who would lean on people. Hey, make sure you vote the right way when you go to the voting booth.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
What a weird time. History is very weird. That's what's another cool thing is we didn't have to deal with it. No, it's a cool thing about our now everyone just struggles from this terrible anxiety. That's what everyone's got nowadays. That's the war on America now. Anxiety and words. Everyone's mad about words and they're so anxious.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I've got to edit a bunch of shit.
Well, you
for
joke-
my, the
you
anxiety.
joke about it. You joke about it in your act, and we talk about it all the time. Like, we have these problems, we have that problems, this problem. Like, women have it tough. It's like, yeah, but it's still better than every
Yeah.
other time in the past.
You know what I've never had to deal with? Pirates.
Yeah. Smallpox.
Never once have I got dysentery. I never came home and my wife and children have been poisoned because they went to the wrong market.
Yeah, my children didn't die of cholera.
Yeah. You hate the FDA because they're making sugary cereals, but without the FDA, you could die. They could just sell you bad meat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if a time traveler came to modern times, I would love to just hang out with that guy for a day.
Oh, dude, they would. You'd hand them your phone, and they wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "What is this magic box?"
Oh, man.
Like,
This
wait,
is-
I could see titties and call someone on the other side of the planet.
But even-
what's a phone call? Like,
Yeah. But even, like, taking them to a grocery store, they're going, how do you have tomatoes and lettuce?
oh yeah, dude.
How do you have pomegranate fruit? Like, it's not only the
It's like
whole
salt.
globe.
You have a whole aisle of salt.
Yeah.
We went to war for salt in my day. You just have it here on the walls.
Right.
This is like $40 billion worth of salt.
How do you have the whole Earth's fruit selection 12 months out of the year? You guys have seasons, right? Do you know how agriculture works? Like, how the fuck are you doing? You guys witches? Like, they wouldn't understand. I was telling this, tried to explain this once. It's only funny if you're on mushrooms or if you're, like, drunk, which is why I never try to put it on stage. But, like, how would you even describe the internet to someone, like, 200 years ago? You'd be like, it's like a screen. And they're like, what the fuck's a screen? You go, all right.
It's a network.
You
What
look
is
at
a
a
network?
thing. It's kind of like a paper, but it's a little thicker and shinier. And in there, you watch stuff. They go, how? Well, it's like a computer. And like, what's a computer? You go, all right. It has all the stuff in it. They go, what do you mean all this? It's everything. Any information you need. It's got, and they go, do people still go to school? And you're like, surprisingly, they do. I don't. Now that you bring it up, that's a good point. I don't know. Now that you bring it up, that's a great
all
point.
the answers to all world knowledge is in this computer.
You can
They're
watch
gonna-
people have sex on it, and they're like, what? Yeah, anything you're into, you know? You could, two girls, one guy, a guy and a guy. They're like, guy and a guy. They're like, oh, God, sorry, I forgot. That's a thing now. Things that people do that now. It's like everything is, it'd be just too hard to explain.
I wonder what they would look at in modern culture and be like, you guys are idiots. That's a bad idea. Because there's got to be some things where like, oh, no, we had that. Throughout history, there's always some things that are better for some people, right? Like the idea of not having a cell phone where you had to like actually have like a public debate in like, like the Roman Senate. All right, that seems like you guys are fucking arguing on Twitter. Doing it in the Senate seems like a better idea. Like, there's some things that are better. I wonder what like they'd be like, that's dumb.
I don't know if it is better. For example, my comment about the Armenians should have never got to their ears.
Yeah.
It would have just been with my buddies. And you'd be like, that is funny what Jeff said. But instead, my voice was able to reach a bunch of people who weren't even looking for comedy. It's almost weird to have this much reach. I'm speaking on things I have no business speaking on. And that's really the problem of a lot of this stuff. It's like you got two smart, like Sam Harris debating with, Neil Tyson deGrasse or whatever his name is. Yeah, and then so I can just pop in the middle of it on Twitter like, hey, buy my album. It's like I shouldn't be able to do that.
That is a big part of the problem with social media in that the leveling out of everything. So like your post on Twitter looks just like Sam Harris's post on Twitter.
That's
just like Jordan Peterson. It's like, wait a minute. Obviously, they're way more legitimate when talking on certain topics than he is.
Like,
obviously, if you're making jokes, you go to old Jeffy. If you want to learn something, you go to those guys.
Yeah,
but because it all looks the same, any asshole looks like, oh, that guy's right. I agree with him more. Like, no, the other guy's learning. I'm an idiot.
He's talking about the cosmos. He's talking about neuroscience, and I'm like, you guys are gay. And they're like, ugh, why is he here? That shouldn't be a thing. But there's a lot of positives. Like he was saying earlier, he learned all this stuff from like YouTube. It's like we had Nate Boyer. Do you know who he is?
Doesn't sound.
Oh yeah.
Nate Boyer is not a Navy SEAL, but what would it be?
He was a Green Beret. He was a Green Beret and a football player.
And he's a
good one.
Well, but he was a proud Green Beret, like he loves his country,
badass.
like he's a badass. And then he was in Iraq, and he's like, he used to play sports and stuff. Like, I wonder what training, because he had all this free time in the middle of like Iraq,
in the desert, yeah.
And he's, because you got a lot of, no one ever talks about how much time they have over there.
Yeah.
I mean, they end up buying all their using all their military money to buy like DVDs or any type of entertainment because it's just so boring a lot of the time. So he's like, I'm gonna see if on YouTube I can learn what drills NFL players do to
practice,
to train, to get into the shape. He learned on YouTube
and then built himself a gym
and then walked on for the Seattle Seahawks.
Jesus
and he was way older than all these guys, but he's like just outrunning them. He's he's a Green Beret, really cool guy. So when Colin Kaepernick was like, I'm gonna sit for the national anthem until
my protest
because of police brutality or whatever. And so then Nate Boyer was like, I recommend you don't do that. As a guy who loves our country, it's not going to be received well. And so then he's like, he gave him an Uber all the way down to San Diego, and they talked about it. And basically they came to an agreement, like it would be disrespectful to turn your back to the flag or to sit, but people take a knee all the time. People take a knee to pray. People take a knee.
They bow to royalty.
Yeah, and so he's like, it'd be, if you want to stand out from everyone else honoring the flag, you could take a knee.
In a non-disrespectful way.
Oh boy, did that work.
Yeah, right.
People lost their mind. And so Cap, who I don't like at all, if I'm honest, but like he wasn't trying to make everyone lose their mind. Yeah. And so, Nate Boyer, just the fact that he could learn how to play in the NFL on YouTube, that's a pretty cool thing that you wouldn't be able to.
Are you saying I got a shot?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Not good at the NFL.
I might pop on there.
You might be good at what's that, pickleball, that new shit?
Pickleball.
Yeah, I can do pickleball.
I'm playing at 4 p.m. today.
I was hoping you were going to say
really?
tetherball.
I don't even know what the fuck it is. I just know it's popular.
Yeah, it's like gay tennis. It's pretty cool.
So you put the racket up your ass?
Yeah, it's awesome. It was hard at first,
the
but
pickle.
now,
The pickle goes up your ass.
Now I'm great.
Got it. There you go.
No, it's a fun game, but it's like, I don't know. It's just, that's the positives of the internet, is that like you can learn as much as you'd like, you can see as much as you'd like, but I don't know if that's good. Right, and I think we've already talked about this on the podcast. We've definitely talked about it in just person about like, I always, when I do mushrooms, I think, you know, if we were like cowboys, like in the old days, we would be on the ridge line with our horses. We just brushed them. It's dark. We're eating out of our cans. We got like
Beans,
a little lantern. Me and Randy sitting there, and Tyler, and we'd just be like, I wonder what everyone's doing out there. You know, you just wonder. You'd see like the kind of the city lights in the distance.
You let your imagination work.
I just
finally.
wonder. I wonder what they're up to, and you would only just try to get back to your wife and get back to your family, and you know get done with your little trip. Now I know what everyone's doing.
All
I know
of the time.
too much of what everyone's. So much so I can find people I don't even like and know what I can't escape their breakfast. I know what my ex-girlfriend did this morning. Like I know it's too much.
Yeah.
There's no balance between the two, and so like when you're really isolated and you're not plugged in, that's bad. But if you're too plugged in, that's
Yeah.
Which could be
Bad.
dangerous for you too. If, say with the Armenian thing, if you do post at a coffee shop, they can go find you. in
Right.
Minutes.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
Jesse
like-
knows. I mean, he's had serial killers fucking show up at his shows. So
yeah,
he's
it's-
stalkers.
Yeah, I had a guy threatening to kill me.
Well, I'll talk to him.
Please do. You
Put a
care
word-
more than my agent
Now
does, Kyle.
with the
My agent
Yeah,
goes,
you're-
just go out there.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he goes, I wouldn't worry about it. I go,
let
you
me
wouldn't
have a
worry
talk
about
Yeah,
it.
of course
this
you
guy.
wouldn't.
You'll be in Beverly Hills.
with the internet, do you think that changed the way you guys see comedy now? Like, or did you guys do anything different with the internet being so prevalent compared to like how you first started out with comedy? Because it probably has been a shift.
There's been a big shift. I used to not post any of my material on the internet because I was like, well, I don't want someone to steal it
Yeah.
from far away. I also don't want, I want to save it for when I do like TV.
Yeah.
No, I was wrong. Dude, just put it up. Because now once you put it up, like there's evidence that you did it. There's like
Yeah.
a timestamp.
Yeah.
Like, and if someone else tries to do it, that kind of sometimes gets policed. Like we've
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
so and so. Although someone stole one of my jokes in a meme recently.
Oh, really?
I have a joke.
Well, you've put me onto someone who stole one of my jokes that was a meme,
It's
and they were doing it on
frustrating.
stage.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, so like and I've never done it on stage. I only did it one of those. If you go to my Instagram, which you should, there's pictures of me, and then I just put like a funny. you put words of
Yeah,
a joke
quote.
Yeah.
next to it. They do well, and so I've kept doing them for years. And one of them was she told me she's an Instagram model, and I said, oh, that's funny because I'm a quarterback I'm a quarterback on Madden football.
Yeah.
And now
Oh, I just saw that.
Someone
did it with Call of Duty.
sent it to me and said, yeah, I'm a soldier on Call of Duty, and I was
saw
like,
the same one. Yes.
I did that 3 years ago.
That was an old one.
And
It's so funny. I just saw that
Oh,
joke.
it's so frustrating. So that happens.
Yeah.
There's different versions. Like also, like how many times SNL has done some stand-up comics bit
Yeah.
as a sketch,
yeah.
and they go, they'll never know because it's a sketch. You're like, it's pretty obvious what you're doing. So that's the bad parts.
Yeah.
But the positives are that like, you know, you
You can build a career
Yeah.
and never have to,
You can
never have to be on
completely-
TV. I mean, like you
Yeah.
can you start a whole, Tim Dillon doesn't have any fucking TV credits.
and you can completely change your life within like a month,
Yeah.
which that's
Well,
exciting.
you're able to put people in seats in different cities, I think, because it is shareable. It's
Yeah.
Like, oh, I saw this in Chicago. Let's get 5 friends to go see him. And obviously,
The
just,
positive, the positive to not having internet though, we talked about this, is like no one used to compare,
Yeah.
right? So you only
And
knew.
comparison is the thief of happiness.
Oh, for sure.
Famous old quote. I mean, like,
And so, like, if you lived in a small village and, like, you know, your wife was like, I'm going to start playing guitar. And you're like, okay, you know, that sounds cool. I support that. And she's learning guitar. And then after, like, a year or so, she's like, I'm going to play at the pub this Friday. And you're like, holy shit.
Sweet, yeah.
We get everyone together. And we go, oh, my God, she taught herself guitar. And, like, she's like, yeah, good for her. Now you're like, well, she's no Bob Dylan. You know?
Yeah.
Or what's the point of being the Prime Minister of Canada? You're not Biden. You're not Trump. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, it all gets compared.
Yeah.
I could be the funniest fucking guy. Like, if there was no internet or no anything, I would have been the funniest guy to probably ever live in Kent, Washington.
Well, there's also
But now they go,
economic-
there's no Chappelle.
Yeah.
There's also economic impact to that too, right? Because it's feast or famine, right? If you're because everyone can see everyone else what they're doing. Like, the best of the best get all of the
Yes.
attention, and everyone else gets fucked. Like, you might have been the funniest comic in Seattle, made a whole career just living in Seattle, living very nice,
Yep.
very wealthy by Seattle standards. If it were 100 years ago,
Yeah.
But now it's like, why am I going to see the funniest guy in Seattle when I can see the funniest fucking guy on Earth?
Right.
On the internet. Yeah,
Right.
wherever he's located or she's
And that's
located.
frustrating. That's psychologically devastating.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never be as funny as Bill Burr. And it's like, why would I even care if I'm as funny as Bill Burr?
Yeah.
You just do your thing. You know,
Yeah.
but like, it's hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
Well, I forget who it was. It's like some famous author, but they talk about like gray technologies. Like there's certain things that we discover that would never be harmful to us, right? Like, that you can turn, sunlight into power, right? That's a good technology. There's no
Sure.
negative externality to that, right? Then there are some gray ones, right? Like nuclear power. Like, oh man, nuclear power, like it's an energy efficient way to get power,
Yeah.
but we can make nuclear weapons, right? And
Pros and cons.
and then there's some that are just obviously horrible for you. Like,
Right.
if you, fucking, we invented a new virus that could kill everybody. Terrible,
Tinder.
terrible. Terrible idea. But then, social media is in that gray area. It's like, oh, look, we could all be connected. But but the way we use it makes us all miserable.
Sure.
Because we can all stay connected and like learn and learn new stuff and find positive inspiration on it. But instead, we spend our time comparing each other to each other and hating our own lives.
Or finding mobs.
Yes.
You go, oh, well, these people all think like me. Let's all mob up on this person that doesn't think like us. And you're like, that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, I actually said this, I keep going back to it just because it's fresh in my brain. But like, if any one of those Armenian people met me in person and we had the conversation about it, it would be over in 4 minutes.
I bet if they saw you do the joke, talk about that same joke live, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. They would just go, oh, but because it's on social media, like it became this.
And it was also the way they presented it. So I saw the way that they reposted it. So they didn't repost just the original, and then they posted the original, but with a comment on top. Putting it into context.
So they watched.
So they just saw it without the comment on top. Like, look at this white guy trash Armenia.
Yeah.
They already pre-programmed. Let's get pissed at him.
Yeah.
But if they just showed it without any of that commentary, it'd be like, all right. Yeah.
You guys see what he's doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trope. We're rich. That's very weird. Anyways. This weekend, come see me and Randy at the DC Improv.
Wrong.
That is Washington, D.C.
Oh, no, you're right. It's next week, yeah.
Washington, D.C. Excited to come back. It's my first time at the Improv there, and it's my first time in D.C. in a long time. But I love D.C. We're going to do all the bullshit. We're going to go see the White House. The Nationals are
I haven't
playing.
done that in forever.
It's fun, yeah. And also that area is great.
Yeah.
Plus, I know some friends there who have access to some of these little obscure political bars that are pretty cool, like secret things, which if you don't know, there's certain bars that you can go to if you're in the industry. In California, when you say you're in the industry, it means Hollywood. You're a producer, a director, an editor, a talent. In DC, when you say you're in the industry, it means you're either like a judge or an attorney, or like that's what they use for the industry. And so there's these places you can go where you can go get drunk as long as you don't have your phone. Yeah. They take your phone and make sure that nobody's snapping pics.
You know what they call the industry in New York? Whores.
Nice.
No, because bankers never refer to it as the industry, like the finance.
Interesting.
Yeah, the industry people in New York are the whores the bankers buy.
Is it a big scene?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The industry there sounds way cooler than DC and California.
You never did the DC Improv?
No, I've never done it. I've done the Arlington Draft House, which I think's closed.
I've done the Draft House.
Or if that's funny, it might not have closed. They've just never booked me again.
Oh, really?
It was early in my career. And then I'm trying to think. I did a smaller version of the Arlington Draft House somewhere else, I think maybe you were with me, or maybe it was Brandt. Really tunnely version of a comic club.
I did the DC Improv once. I was on family vacation. Somehow, a local buddy of mine got me a spot, and I did a show with Tony. Dave Chappelle's mentor. Not Tony Baker. Tony.
I don't know, but that was going to be my next question. Is it a black room?
No. He's just a black guy. Okay. But he paid me a compliment. I was like, oh.
Nice.
Nice, yeah.
Well, good memories there.
That was funny.
Well, we're going to have a good ass weekend there. Now. Kyle, you want to plug anything, buddy?
If you guys want to follow me, I'm Clips by Kyle on Instagram. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to be around this weekend.
If you see Trevor Wallace, YouTube sensation, ask him, hey, where's Kyle? And you get to go meet Kyle.
And we'll be filming. We've got Denver coming up next week.
Nice. Don't go to that. Go to DC Improv.
Yes.
Fly to DC if you're in Denver.
Let's not forget what podcast you're a part of here, buddy.
Well, I thought DC was this weekend.
I'm just kidding. If you're in Denver, you don't need to come to DC. You can go see Kyle and Trevor Wallace. If you're in the DC area, come to my party or come to my shows. Thank you guys. Share the good news. Rate, review, subscribe. This is it. This is going to be the new pod. Kyle, Randy, myself.
I'm happy to do it.
Occasionally a fourth person, but not very often. Send us what you want us to talk about. Send us some topics or questions. You can make videos, and we'll play the video, and then we'll answer the video's question. Or you can just tweet it at us, Instagram us, or Facebook us.
Yeah, I'll start taking them on Instagram. I used to do... every once a month, I used to do an Ask Us Anything episode, Chase and I, and then I started doing them with you earlier this year.
Super fun.
But then I stopped doing them. But you know what? Since I'm here now, why don't we ask the questions here? Let's do that.
Absolutely. What's your socials, just so they can find
at Randy Valerio, RandyValerio, and you can hear me and do my bullshit every Wednesday on the Ready Set Blow podcast.
Sometimes he's hard to find on social media because he'll say something that gets in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a person I look for more on Instagram, and I can't find it sometimes.
I get shadow banned. Listen, If you guys like edgy stuff, come see your Uncle Randy.
Uncle Randy. Isn't there one of your Instagrams an Uncle Randy?
Yeah, Uncle Randy Memes. That's my other one. Uncle Randy Memes.
Love it. All right, we love you guys. Thanks for being here. We will see you next week, starting now.
Jeff